You are watching Travel World Online.
News highlights of the day. Assam witnesses strong increase of tourist footfalls in 2023. IATO and MP Tourism Board join hands to promote state as a tourism hub. First ever weekend tourist hub to open in Tripura. Hydel tourism sites in Kerala to run battery-operated boats. Hotel Nikko Changshu to open on 1st August. The Fawn Hotels and Resorts takes over the Metropole Hotel, Ahmedabad. Now, news and details. There is a whopping increase of tourist footfalls of 573% in domestic tourists and 783% in foreign tourists in 2023 in the state, said Assam Tourism Minister, Jayanta Mallabarua. He met leading tour operators from Delhi to promote Assam as tourist destination and to strengthen cooperation with tourism partners. At a recent workshop jointly conducted by Madhya Pradesh Tourism Board and IATO Madhya Pradesh chapter, it was decided that the three World Heritage Sites of Sanchi, Bhimbetka and Khajuraho in the state will be promoted following connectivity, spoke and hub model. Besides, Gwalior will be declared as a city of music and partnership will be worked out among hotels and airlines to create the critical mass to catapult the state as an emerging MICE and wedding destination for both domestic and international markets. Tripura will witness its first ever weekend tourist hub on 30th July in front of the Ujjanta Palace in Agartala, said Tourism Minister Sushanta Chaudhary on Friday. No vehicular movement would be allowed from Sherawali Sweet Corner to Rabindra Bhavan Chaumohani and Jackson Gate traffic point during the weekend tourist hub, officials informed. Chief Minister Dr. Manik Saha will inaugurate the event in the presence of Chaudhary, Agartala Municipal Corporation, AMC Mayor Deepak Mujumdar, the Chief Secretary, and other officials.
Near the heart of India. A land filled with surprises. In the mighty force of your waters, you hold the deepest secrets that take us back in time. When it's said that the gods walked this land, this is where we feel the warmth of your faces. Come, experience Chhattisgarh.
The Hydel tourism destinations under the Kerala State Electricity Board, KSEB, will soon switch to green energy. Plans are afoot to deploy battery-operated boats in the major Hydel tourism destinations in the state. State Hydel Tourism Director Narendra Nath Veluri said the move was intended to make Hydel tourism destinations environment-friendly. Hotel Nikko Changshu has announced it will open on 1st August 2023, initially with a slightly limited range of facilities. The first Nikko-branded hotel in Changshu, in China's Jiangsu province, Hotel Nikko Changshu is strategically located at the heart of the Changshu National New and High-Tech Industrial Development Zone. The Fawn Hotels and Resorts, India's leading environmentally sensitive hotel chain, is pleased to announce the takeover of the Metropole Hotel, Ahmedabad under the company's revenue share model.
You are watching Travel World Online.
Thank you. First of all, namaste, namaskar, vanakkam, vandanam, and a huge gratitude, word of thanks to Jyoti. That was excellent of the tires to say, please bring everybody back to the room to have a conversation. And thank you everyone for coming back to the room. I think it is important that we have a dialogue and a conversation, so I'm happy to be here on behalf of Singapore Tourism Board. It's a privilege to be working in India, trying to get all of your support to bring visitors to Singapore. So that's my job. As to how I'm feeling today, I'm feeling stressed and strapped. Just like all of us in the room, we are stressed because there are a lot of demands on our time, a lot of demands on what we need to do. But I would also like to say that we are also being in the tourism industry specifically, we strapped with what we need to be doing. So yes, I'm stretched with work, but I'm strapped with anxious optimism. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I think it's an honor, privilege, and a pleasure to be here amongst you. And thank you for Ty for inviting me for this function. I'm sure most of you, as well as myself, I'm wondering how an ex-body finds place on a dais amongst travel agents. Well, I was in the Indian Navy for about 24 years, and after that I have spent about 15 years with the crews and the Navy tourism business. I head the cruise vertical at JM Bakshi, and we handle about 85 to 90% of the cruise ships which call into India. And therefore, most of my perspective during my talk today would be from the cruise tourism perspective, and I hope it helps. Thank you.
So, just very quickly, my name is Noel Swain, and I'm part of VFS Global. As you know, VFS works with diplomatic missions and governments worldwide to manage the administrative tasks related to visa processing. Just in terms of one line about how I'm feeling, I think extremely excited about the future. We heard a lot of numbers thrown at us yesterday right from the first session, but the one that kind of sticks in my mind is the fact that Indians going abroad and spending, just the overall number is increasing 3 times within the last, when we look at 2026-27, so within 7 years it's going up 3 times, while the overall travel volume is probably increasing about 40-50%. So, which clearly shows the amount of opportunity that exists in the Indian market.
Thank you, Noel. Just to add to what Noel is saying, as Faith, along with all the industry bodies, all of them which are here, we have in our vision work with the government that the outward travel from India should touch around 75 million travelers. And that's the size of the opportunity that we're looking at. And as you're aware, that when people go outbound, they spend at least triple to 4 times more than what they spend in domestic market. So that's the essence of the value or the volume of opportunity that each of you can look forward to. What you're saying. So let's come back to Dave. Dave, please tell us as to how can the travel community, and this is a question individual and not the question, how can the travel community work better with your organization or with services such as yourself to increase the value that they have to their clients and create more business going forward?
So, look, we've been discussing this for the last couple of days, and the whole pattern of travel, the way the traveler is looking at traveling overseas is changing significantly and has already changed in the last 10 years. Let's not forget that every traveler before goes to a travel agent has now ChatGPT. He knows exactly what he wants to do, and is looking at a travel agent to add value to his travel, and that can only happen if ancillary support service providers like ourselves can support the travel agent in doing the same. So one of the most important things that we're doing at our end is, and what we have seen in the last couple of years is the traveler is now very specific, right? So he wants to either go for specific tour, either it's a road trip, he's going for a ski trip, skiing, or he's going for deep sea diving. He's very specific to why he's traveling, and a travel agent needs to assist him with more relevant products, more relevant suggestions, rather than just going for a vanilla. And that can be done by using the right technology. So on our tech platform now that we have just launched, a travel agent can actually curate a product based on the traveler's need and requirement, and not just offer the standard silver, gold, platinum to everybody. Right? So I think that's one big shift that what we are seeing. And with this whole technology platform, it will sort of empower the travel agent to give the customer exactly what he wants. And that's the reason why he's coming to travel agency. Otherwise, he can go and find online.
Thank you, Deep. And I think one role is very important. Please empower yourselves. You need to all empower your own business to ensure that you stay relevant to your clients. And we'll sum all of this later. Shrita, while you represent a lovely country, Singapore, could you also maybe advise our travel friends as to when they work with a country in promoting outbound, how should they better work with a country to add more value to their own travels? You can use the reference of Singapore obviously, but also can you then probably templatize it in a way that when they are offering a solution to their customers to travel to a particular country, how do they, as they rightly say, become more relevant, become more valuable while adding value to their own business?
Okay. I think a couple of points come to mind. Number one, I would like to start by saying that staying relevant, staying connected as a travel fraternity is very, very important. About 10 years ago, pre-COVID, in a room like this, with travel agents, being a candid speaker that I am, I asked an existential question. Guys, 10 years down the road, will you be still in business? Is travel agents still a relevant fraternity in this market like India? It is a digi-savvy market, it's technologically advancing very rapidly. If it is going to go the direction of an advanced country like US or Europe, the role of a travel agent gets diminished because, as was mentioned about AI, ChatGPT is now even causing a lot of commotion in the world. So what is the relevance of a travel agent? Thanks to COVID, the travel agent is back in business. Thanks to COVID, the traveler today is even more hypersensitive that he wants to be managed by a travel agent. And India, being a very service-oriented country, for everything you want to be serviced. For a pani puri, there are 5 people lining up and doing your pani puri. Right? So in this kind of a climate, good news is the travel agent's relevance is back. The good news is, in my personal assessment, it is going to be there for at least another couple of decades for a few reasons. India is on the rise. India is going to be economically, politically going to be such an important country in the next decade and more. And therefore, a lot of travelers are going to be traveling. India is, as you can see, every country is knocking on the doors of the Indian consumer and saying, please come and visit my country. So, good news is, we are back in business, but how do you then make sure you are staying connected, staying relevant, and staying ahead of the curve, that you are not overtaken by the technology that is going to say, if I'm a 25-year-old guy sitting in Surat or sitting in Jaipur, I don't need a travel agent, I know how to book and move. But I think where your big benefit is, you're able to advise, you're able to manage, you're able to be there when something goes wrong and fix the problems. The second thing, maybe to talk to the point about Singapore. First and foremost, huge sense of gratitude and thanks that all of you in the room continue to make Singapore among the most visited countries from India. Singapore considered India as our third largest source market in 2019, and even till today, India is a very, very important source market for family travel, for cruise, for MICE, and for the young Indians coming over. So it is very important that we continue working with you to promote Singapore. So my take on how can you promote Singapore better? One opening statement: stop selling the myth that Singapore is expensive. Right? Everywhere I go, travel agents keep on saying Singapore is expensive, Singapore is expensive. No. I think the consumer today is not talking about price in a very absolute black and white. They are not. They are far sharper than, I think all of us know that the consumers are very, very sharp. They are very clear what is the value. Where is my paisa for soup? So if today the consumer says Singapore for $10, you're getting a concentration of experiences. I can be Universal Studios in the morning, I can be in Orchard Road shopping in the afternoon, and I can be at the Gardens by the Bay having a lunch in the evening. How many countries in the world can offer you that? No, not many countries. So my humble request, Singapore is great value for money, and if you can reimagine the way we can sell Singapore, there are a lot of new products we keep on being relevant in the market. So my humble request, reimagine the way we can sell Singapore, and we hope to reach out to you guys and work with you to continue positioning Singapore as a must visit and revisit country. Thank you.
And I think one key point that you mentioned, probably you can explore that as we work, is, and I picked that point from you. Are you familiar with all the kinds of experiences that you can create for your client in a particular destination? And so, as what you mentioned, it's not just about price then. So if you have clients who are talking to you about price, you can talk back to them about experiences. So there's a certain experience that your client doesn't want because it's expensive or doesn't have value for money. If you have an inventory by each destination of the experiences that that country or destination offers, probably your relevance to them increases a lot more, and your value to the client increases a lot more. Is that Sheila, does it make sense? Yes?
It's a very important question. I think all of you are seniors in the room, all of you are industry veterans. You know this. The consumer is very clear. Value is important, experiences is important. Why am I going? How am I going? So the convenience is important. So if you don't take a position, and some of you in the room have told me this in the past, we no longer talk to them about, I got $10 to spend, what can I do? That's not the conversation. I got $10 to spend, and when you sit down, okay, what do you want to do? And after the conversation, the gentleman or the lady says, I've got $20 to spend, that's where you're relevant. Because I don't get this on a technology platform. I go in, I key in, and I say I want $10 to spend. ChatGPT will throw up an itinerary, and that's it. But with you, you're a travel consultant, you're an advisor, you are a subject matter expert. The $10 can become $20 after you've spoken to them. Yeah.
Thank you, Sheila. You know, recently, please feel free. Recently in Goa, at the G20 meet, VAS industry helped the government launch the cruise tourism policy. And the first time India has an integrated national cruise tourism policy, which I don't know if you're aware. Obviously, you're aware that we have more than 7,500 kilometers plus of coastline. We have 20,000 kilometers plus of inland waterways. We have more than 100 lighthouses, 400 plus rivers and islands. So the cruise tourism policies that we as industry have launched for the government, implemented for the government, covers all of that. Neville, cruise is going to become the next big thing in India. And we were together at Goa, we helped the government launch it. Can you share with all our friends here, how should their perspective of cruise tourism change? And feel free to bring in sea, coastal, river, wherever you like. Please, thank you.
Thanks, Ashish. Actually, looking at it from a cruise liner's perspective, I think how cruising started in India about 2.5 decades ago, and what it is today, there are major changes coming along. There is also a major difference between cruising in the US or North America, in Europe and in India and in the subcontinent. Firstly, let's take the international scenario where international cruise lines, the passengers are mostly, as I'm sure you all are aware, are senior citizens, 60 and above. They require a certain amount of care and attention when they are coming in here. Conversely, in India, the average age of cruisers or people who are cruising is coming down. It's now 44. At 44 is the average age of a passenger who cruises in India. And In India, I as a grandfather would love to sort of travel with my grandchildren. And that is where the size of groups that travel on cruises now is increasing. Ships are not getting smaller, in fact they are getting larger. Almost every 6 months you find that the next largest cruise ship in the world is getting launched. And therefore we in India need to be prepared to handle that kind of volume that is going to come into India. That brings us to the point of the infrastructure, our processes, our SOPs that need to be laid down for handling that kind of volume. At the moment, as far as infrastructure is concerned, I think it's the first time that the government has opened up the cruise terminal industry, and we as GM Bakshi are the first private terminal operator building a cruise terminal in Mumbai. While the government is building cruise terminals in Vizag, in Goa, and there are existing terminals in Cochin and Chennai, but we need to be able to handle much larger ships than what we do today. Coming back to the relevance of travel agents, we have in our midst here the PSAs of very big cruise lines who are responsible for sort of selling the inventory on their cruise lines. And that makes it incumbent on each and every travel agent of the country, across the country, even in landlocked states, to bring in that awareness and support these PSAs to fill up these cruise ships when they are coming into India. The biggest change or the improvement that we saw over the last 2.5 years was the domestic cruise doing so well in India. People from the northeast states, right from Himachal, Kashmir, Gujarat, coming in large groups of 25 and over, coming in for cruising, and that's a positive sign. And therefore, when you sell such large groups, I think you as travel agents would need to be aware of the operational limitations that the cruise lines have, the operational limitations that the ports have to handle that kind of volume and the influx of passengers. Because at the end of the day, being travel agents will respect the fact that it is the passenger experience which makes all the difference. His Excellency, the Ambassador of Egypt, mentioned about creating a sort of association of nations where we would be able to sort of share our boundaries and make cruise lines that much more profitable. Because cruise lines finally, at the end of the day, sell itineraries. They don't sell specific locations. And therefore, what are we in India or Sri Lanka competing against? We are competing against the ports of Singapore, of even Phuket, and such ports where the volume or the number of port calls are much higher. So we need to study what is the difference that is there and here. And therefore, I don't think there is anything short of emphasizing the importance of a travel agent in the cruise industry. Thank you.
Thank you, Neville. So I think one key important point from what Neville said, please be very sure of the product, and since with reference to cruise, of the product, its strengths, its weaknesses, and the complete facts, so that you can create better solutions for your clients. Knowing that there is so much happening in the visa front in the world. There are countries which are offering visa, there are countries which are going without a visa, there are countries which are offering paper visa, electronic visa, and now this stuff of digital visa. What do you suggest for travel friends, travel agents, as to how should they equip themselves with what's happening latest, and how can they create better positioning and solutioning using these services? Thanks.
just the total number of outbound travelers in India at 26-27 million in 2019. We've got about a fourth of these travelers who already have visas, so they're really repeat travelers because they've got existing long duration visas. We've got about a third of those travelers that are potentially applying for what we call sticker visas or vineyard visas. And then you've got the rest of them who are doing a combination of e-visa or visa online. I think one of the areas that's important for us to, as an industry, to look at is wherever there is the concept of visa, we know that the visa application process is quite a serious process, right? Given the amount of documentation that goes into it, and it needs to be obviously perfect, along with all of the supporting documentation and your application form and so on and so forth. Given that we are working or continuously interacting with more of a discerning traveler, we've seen that customers really are willing to pay for convenience. Right through the last 2.5 years, and which has not really stopped going forward, is consumers looking at simpler ways of getting the same thing done. We've introduced various value-added services like the premium lounge, the ability to keep your passport in case of UK, the visa at your doorstep service where we can go far and wide on weekends, after office hours, to assist customers and make it more convenient for them to complete the application process. And I think this is where we can really work closely with and we already do, but we can work closely with each one of you, which is the travel agency community, to make the entire process simpler for customers going forward.
Thank you, and I think very critical to what was said earlier, it's very important to stay connected to the suppliers and or services to ensure that the amount of facilitation that you can do for your clients improves, thereby making your services more valuable. Let's come back to Dave. Dave, share with us something which has been a part of your personal or professional life. Any message or anything which you'd like to share with our friends, which can inspire them?
I think I would like to say that my biggest inspiration is right in front of me, this whole room. Right? Most of you have seen me and my company grow from a startup to the most preferred and the most liked travel insurer provider in the country. Right? And one thing that I've learned from each one of you is never to stop. Right? We've seen so many cases in this last 15-20 years, whether it's COVID, whether it's global meltdown. I have seen every time I walk into a travel agency and they are so positive and so charged up, and they say, we'll come back and we'll do this again and we'll do this again. And that keeps me motivated. I go back to my office and tell the same thing to my team. I think when our partners are so charged and motivated, we have no reason to be down. So thank you very much for motivating me and my team and my company.
Thank you. I must say I'm a humble Singapore government civil servant, and I feel always intimidated sitting and talking to people who are successful business entrepreneurs. How you guys do it, how you guys are wired, it's always intimidating to me because I am a civil servant. So when I'm talking to you guys, I think, what do I actually tell which is relevant to you? You are running businesses. But I thought I'd share with you a thought. This was one of the conferences as we just came out of COVID, and early this year things were moving up. So it was at a conference and I was asked this question: how do we navigate in a VUCA world? VUCA. That was the first time I think, what is VUCA? So VUCA is a military, is used in the American military. V stands for volatile, U stands for uncertain, C stands for complex, and A stands for ambiguity. So the framing of the question was a bit pessimistic. How do you, there are so many things happening in the world, how do you stay relevant in this VUCA world? Then I said, guys, we are, as I said, anxious optimism is the state of mind that I am in consistently. We are in the business of spreading optimism. We are in the business of spreading hope. We are in the business of spreading travel and have experiences and enliven your lives, right? So I said, let's not use VUCA, let's reinterpret VUCA. So I said, we, instead of volatile, let's say it's venture. The human spirit always ventures. We are human beings, we always want to venture, whether it's for business or leisure, whatever. So we are in a good business, there will always be travel. Alright? Unless there's some very, very big doomsday that's happening. But people will always travel. No questions about it. So V is for venture. U is for uncover. There was uncertain. I said it is uncover. We have to uncover, discover experiences, and we are in the business of facilitating that. C, complex. I said I'm going to cheat. I got 3 words for C. One is care. COVID taught all of us that we need to care more for ourselves, for our family, for our friends, and care is going to be there for a long, long time. The human psyche has changed, at least for the decade, unless there's no other major, let's not have any other major disturbances in the world, but care is going to be very important, right? C, second, is connect. We really need to connect. We are in the business of connecting and we need to continue doing that. And C, celebrate. We are in the business of facilitating celebrations, right? So care, connect, celebrate, and finally A, ambiguous, I changed it to adaptive travel. The Indian consumer especially is a very, very adaptive traveler. If there's a problem in this part of the region, he travels, he makes his business in some other part. He goes somewhere, some other travel, and he will make sure that he's enjoying himself. So we are in a good business, and I would like to say that for the next couple of decades, as India rises, travel demand rises, you are in a very, very good space to build a business. And yeah, thanks for the opportunity. Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you. Well, I actually was going to flash a photograph which would have a caption somewhere in the Middle East, where we actually had an aircraft carrier which is the largest warship in the world, and just another cruise liner. The aircraft carrier is about 15 decks from keel to bridge, and you have just an average size cruise liner which possibly is 22-23 decks from keel to the top. Berths just 20 meters apart. And fortunately we were the agents for both the ships, and therefore we gave the opportunity of exchanging visitors on the ships. We took a bunch of officers and sailors from the aircraft carrier, the cruise liner, and a few visitors from passengers from the cruise liner to the aircraft carrier. Obviously, both the groups were enamored by each other, the grass being greener on the other side. And seeing the response that we had, we opened up another group of visitors. And trust me, the number of passengers, cruise passengers who wanted to come onto our carrier was much, much more than the number of officers and sailors who wanted to come onto a cruise ship. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this out is also relevant to the fact what Sridhar said about uncovering domains. As the travel industry, we need to explore the unexplored, find the uncharted areas where we can go and provide new experiences to various people. I think over a period of time, people have got used to what they have, and therefore the onus is on us to provide them that much more and more. Thank you. Amazing. Thank you.
Thanks. Always hard to go last, especially after being through that long story. But I'll try and keep it simple. We all know, and we are all very clear that to continue to be relevant, we need to listen to customers, and we continue to do that. But however, given the kind of exposure that customers have today, the first piece of news that they see in the morning is really coming from WhatsApp, potentially, and then you go on to Instagram, and then Facebook, and then so on and so forth. We know that the customers are discerning, we know that they're extremely exposed. So I think the way in which we need to continue to listen to our customers and stay relevant is to continue to learn on a daily basis, upscale ourselves, so that we are able to go hand in hand and respond to customers in the best way possible. That's all.
here